$2.50 for every sheep he shears. That may not sound like very much, but as they can shear between 150 and 200 sheep per day, they actually earn him quite a bit of money. And there we have a lovely, clean, shorn sheep.
Now, in the wool of sheep, there's a natural grease which is called lanolin. Lanolin is very good for our skin. I'm sure you know of it, a lot of skin care products, and in particular ladies' cosmetics, they have lanolin in them. It's also very good for the sheep itself. Immediately after we shear the sheep, they produce a very large amount of lanolin which covers their own body in grease. And that protects them from the weather, keeps them warm and dry, so that we can put them outside immediately after shearing at any time of the year, even in the winter time when it's cold and wet. They don't suffer at all. When I rub the body of the sheep on the freshly cut wool, give it a good hard rub here like this, you'll be able to see the lanolin shining on my hand. Here we are, it's quite greasy and very good for our skin. So after the show, when the sheep's back in the pen, you might like to go in there and rub the sheep, just like I did. Rub it for a long time, put it all over your face, and you'll have a very, very soft skin. You'll smell terrible, really bad, but then you'll have good skin. Now this pile of wool here is called a fleece. Fleece of wool, and there are workers in the shearing shed called rouseabouts. One of them will pick up the fleece of wool and throw it onto a wool table. I'm just going to demonstrate that for you by throwing the fleece onto the floor, just so that you can see better. You might like to imagine that there's a wool table there. The rouseabout picks up the fleece up to the wool table and throws out the fleece. When we do that, you can see that the technique of shearing gets all the wool off in one piece, all joined together just like a big rug. And that's very important, because when we throw out the fleece, all the short wool from down the legs and the dirty greasy wool from underneath the legs, that all comes out to the edges of the fleece. So we can skirt around the fleece and remove that wool. And this process is called skirting the fleece. So here's the back leg, and you can see the short wool from down the leg. We take that away, and then underneath the leg, the dirty greasy wool. Just that bit there. And then same on the front leg up here. You can see it along the edge there. We just strip that little bit away. And some of the short wool just around the neck here. Right, now that's the reason we do this, is to increase the value of the fleece, because these pieces that we removed are less valuable than the main fleece wool. And these pieces are called pieces. And now all of the wool that we've got left here is top quality fleece wool. This is what Australia is famous for. Beautiful, soft, fine merino fleece wool. And this beautiful fleece wool will be made into very high quality clothing. Things like fine lightweight woolen suits for men and women, jackets, slacks, evening gowns, things like that. And this is how much wool a sheep produces in 1 year, around about 4 to 5 kilograms of wool, one piece. There's enough wool there to make 3 complete men's suits. If you had to buy them, they cost you more than $1,000. But the value of this one fleece is about $20. $20 what the farmer gets for a fleece of wool. And we put the wool into a wool press, this metal box here, and we put 40 or 50 fleeces in here, press them down very tight using this machine, and that's how we make bales of wool like this. And most of Australia's wool is exported. We export our wool to many different countries, but the main one today, where do you think? Any idea? China, that's right, China of course. And the pieces, they'll be made into woolly socks, woolly jumpers, blankets for bed, things like that. And everything else, all these little bits that have been swept up, little bits of wool as small as this, these are called locks. And the locks get mixed together, mixed up like this, made into a material called felt. That's how we make felt. And that can be used for all sorts of things, as I'm sure you know. This is just an example. It's a beautiful felt hat. And this one's made from pure Australian merino wool. All these tiny little bits there. Now, when the stockman is out mustering the sheep on the horse, he uses the Australian stock whip. This is what it looks like. And when we crack the whip, it makes a loud bang. That is the purpose of the whip. It's to make that noise to get the attention of the sheep that we're mustering. That's the only purpose of the whip. We do not hit anything with it. And to make the whip crack, we just swing it around and back. Just around, back. It makes a loud bang. Now remember, when we're cracking the whip, we are riding along on the horse. The horse is there. We have to be very careful that we don't hit the horse. And there are two methods we use to make sure. Firstly, over the top of the horse, right up here like this. And the other way we do is just up and down this way. When we do it that way, the whip travels backwards and forwards beside the body of the horse. Now, what is it that makes that bang? What makes the noise? Well, if you watch very closely now, you'll be able to see what makes the whip crack. And there'll be no sound at all. See if you can see what happens. And what makes the whip crack is changing direction with our arm. So I'm going forward and then back, simply changing direction. Forehand, backhand, if you like to think of tennis. And now when we do that, it creates a loop in the whip, which travels out to the end of the whip like a wave. When it gets to the end, it flicks the end of the whip over faster than the speed of sound. So this piece on the end, which is called the cracker, when that flicks over, it breaks the sound barrier. So it's a sonic boom that you're hearing right there, the end of the whip. Okay, well that's what it is. Now who would like to have a go at cracking the whip? Now this is not dangerous. Not dangerous. You will not hurt yourself if you'd like to come and try this. And it's just as easy for the women. So who wants to have a try? And it's not for the children. But you got your hand up? Yeah, come on then. Come on. Thank you. Where are you from? Czech Republic. Welcome. So come and stand there. If you would, see that circle? Standing there, and I want you facing there. Alright? So don't move in just a moment. Now, it's very important before anyone attempts to crack the whip, they must have a hat like this on. Alright? Same as this. So why do you think we need the hat before we start to crack the whip? It's very important. So you don't hit, she's saying, so you don't hit your head. In other words, protection of the head. That's a very good answer. But the reason is, it looks good in the picture. We have to have a hat for the picture, right? Now, are you right hand or left hand? Right hand. So here we go. Swinging forward. This is forward. Now think of a helicopter going around. Remember, to make the whip crack, we have to change direction. Go back. We'll do it on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Just forward and then back. Right. You try. Yes, that's good. Oh! Now, do you want to try it again? Do you want to do it again? Again? Yes, okay. Right, go on. Round you go. Same again. Forward. And very good. Very good. That's perfect. cracked the whip first time. Very good. Well done. Who's next? Who else would like to have tried this? And, who's got their hand up? Yes, sir. Come on. A bit slow up there. Welcome, sir. Where are you from? India. Welcome. Get you to stand there. Facing there. Who's got the camera? Now. Okay, now, sir. Have you been watching? Yeah. Learning? Right hand or left hand, sir? Okay, so here we go. Here's the helicopter. Going forward. And remember, we have to change direction on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Forward.